life is given to you.
Hello friends, welcome. My name is Reenah Sun and I'm calling from Australia where we approach the summer equinox. Today I'm sharing on a topic that's very close to my heart, topic on relating, and I'm feeling a deep sense of gratitude that Meike Schuett and Isaac are joining us. Hello, you two.
Hi.
Thank you, very good. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, it's a very wide topic, this one, on relating. I mean, there's so much to it. It's about celebrating friendship and, you know, celebrating a togetherness that creates a synergy and the whole magnetism that comes with that. And you know, often it starts off a real joy, and then sometimes it gives way to these walls we meet within ourselves. I always like what Kim Eng says about relationships. She says, any time I have the idea that I'm in a relationship, I get in trouble. It's just the very idea of it. Certainly it involves vulnerability. I've been wanting to talk to couples, and it's really difficult to get a couple of people who'll show up and just share on their relating, because there seems to be a fear that something is going to be seen. What is it about this vulnerability that we feel so uncomfortable about? You know, like letting people in to really see us.
I'm
happy to talk to both of us, I think.
Yeah.
So that relating, it's interesting because I explored it yesterday in the group with the women, and just exploring fresh, it's such a big subject. It's such a big subject, but what I can see is one of the most important things for this system, for what you call Meike, has been really to see deeply and experience also again and again that there is no separation ever to anything. That separation is something that exists only in the mind. But in truth, there is never ever any separation. So to explore that again and again and again and again, because it wants to be seen fresh in every moment. Because otherwise it becomes a relationship. And in that already is a sense of separation. So now it's one perspective in a way to connect or get that sense of the interconnectedness to everything, and then moving on in our daily lives where it can become in an instant very, very narrow, and all of a sudden it seems like that there is somebody out there or something is out there. So, and how to deal with that. That's actually, because that's life, isn't it? That's what we deal with. So then we come together with somebody, maybe there is attraction, or somehow life puts us together, and everything, every conditioning that is in these systems comes out in place. So, and that's the opportunity. That's in every moment an opportunity to come to that point to see that in truth there is no separation ever. So how to invite myself to see that in every moment, in every instant, and to see what actually. We were talking yesterday afternoon about priorities. What is actually the priority of this system right now and right here? And also that wants to be explored again and again. What is the priority? What am I here for? What is my interest? So I'm very lucky. Yeah?
No, please continue.
So I'm very lucky that somehow life put me together with someone who has the same interest, which really makes a huge difference to explore, because now there are two with the same interest that whenever the conditioning comes up, we can kind of point each other to, wow, wait a moment, what is our interest? What is our deepest interest? And can we hold every conditioning that comes up and shows itself? Whatever, however ugly it seems, can we hold that together without taking it personally, without making anything out of it? Just knowing there's an interest of, for us, I would say, or let me just speak for myself, but I know that maybe we won't use the same words, but that we have similar interest, or the same interest even. For me it is to live in love and peace in the most beautiful way. So reminding each other to that and holding each other's hands in every time it doesn't show up like that. So that's our passion.
And this really would take listening, being able to listen to your own system and feel your own body, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like you talk about holding space, and you know, so often we talk in our circles about holding space. But you know, let's go deeper into this. What does it actually mean to hold space?
Yeah, beautiful question. Yeah. So to hold space, in my experience, is to be really here, to be available, to be really here, and to see and to notice, because there's this natural capacity to notice when the system wants to move away. And inviting it to come here in the most gentle way, so that it doesn't have to go into any overwhelm or space out, so that it can freely come and go, actually, just the way it does. Because that's what it's doing, isn't it? Sometimes we say, wow, where was I? I have no clue that I was away. I have no clue where I actually was. It's just blank. So naturally what our systems do, and every system is there a little bit different, that's what I've noticed, it resources itself where it can. So if it seems like something is too much, if there comes a little overwhelm, it has to go someplace where it feels safe. So it does naturally try to get away from a moment. But that is just on the physical level. But if we don't include that in everything, it will not be this. You know, the moment the nervous system calms, when it goes into overwhelm, it's just out there. We have no control, nothing is seen. It just does its thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what you could call that gap or noticing, we could also speak of when the nervous system has calmed down enough that seeing comes in again. That it's kind of like a switch of nervous system. You know, one is total overwhelm, or it's really out there, and the other one, it calms down already. The chemicals come to peace, get reabsorbed, and Oh, okay. Clear seeing comes in slowly again.
So obviously, we have no choice about what we feel or what it arises when it arises. Yet, I could say I'm responsible for interpretation. So when we have this contraction happening in our body, you know, simultaneously there seems to be this story running at the same time. So how do we meet this story?
So the story already, in my experience, is a movement away from here. And like you described so nicely in report, is all of that is seen, maybe a moment later, but there's a seeing of all of that. And that seeing kind of creates a space, just that it doesn't feel as identified as it normally does. So that seeing is actually our biggest gift that can be given to us by grace or life itself, whatever you want to call it. So when that seeing comes in, oh wow, story is running, oh wow, overwhelm, oh wow, I really hate the other one, oh wow, separation, oh man, where can I go? So you can't do anything about it. That's chemicals moving through the system and doing their job, doing their thing. And at one point, for most of us at least, there comes that moment where it calms down and, oh, I see, it's gone down that road. And what is my priority again? Let me just take a moment right here. Or is it even possible to invite my beloved? Can we just, wow, we have no clue what that was just now. And can we just sit here together, hold hands, whatever, to invite each other to come back to our priority, to what we're actually interested in, are love and peace, in this case. And it is a dance. I mean, I don't know anybody who has it down yet. So, and I also don't have a feeling that it's about that. It's more, how it seems to me is, it's more, if there is an interest in that, then it goes naturally that way. If the interest is not so strong, you know, you have to do another round and another one. And you can't really do anything about it, because even that interest, it comes or it doesn't. It's not really, you know, you don't really have a choice about that. But if it comes, wow, then there is a possibility for us to live in a different way. Like life exploring in a different way. Life itself doing it. So this is how it shows up here with us.
Attention seems to be allured to the story habitually for many of us. And obviously when we're grabbed and we're overwhelmed, we seem to be believing in this overwhelm, this personalization.
Yeah.
In this instant, there seems to be a projection happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously when the story's grabbed us, project out there.
So just for fun, we're sitting here now, and there's awareness, and there's experience, and what we call each other is actually an experience. So we're an experience appearing in awareness, in that which you are, and there's an experience that we call Reenah that's appearing in awareness. So the habit is to believe that that experience is somehow separate to ourselves. So there's a way that our eyes have gotten used to looking as if there's an object outside. It's just, it's like language turns everything into objects. So like Reenah becomes an object, and Isaac becomes an object, and Meike becomes an object. But really, if we look in our own experience here without believing anything, there's just experience happening in awareness, yeah? And so somehow there's an experience of speaking happening, and then that speaking gets understood or misunderstood, or who knows, somehow it gets interpreted, it either resonates or it doesn't, or it does whatever dance happens around it. But again, who's doing any of that stuff? Those are kind of like activities that go on that they're just activities, interpretations, making sense of, and either taking a position with or against or something like that. And all of that's going on in awareness, yeah? And so we talk about like Reenah, and when I look, and there's just an experience here right now, and the nature of experiences is changing every instant, yeah? So there's...
And experience is actually sensations, isn't it? So that's where the body comes in. Just like to add that. Because experience is just, how all those senses perceive this moment.
So then, if I look or if looking happens, and I say, this experience that is happening of Reenah, is that Reenah? I can't say that that's Reenah, yeah? I can say that it's just there's an experience, yeah, and then there's within that experience, if there's any how can I say, it's like usually what goes on when we meet someone, there's an automatic kind of like fitting what's happening into, is this useful to me in my life? Is this not useful to me? Am I attracted? Am I not attracted? Do I like? Don't I like? And all of those are colorations going on. They're based just on perception, based on memory, you could say, and unexamined values a lot of times, and unexamined wants and needs, and all playing, and then somehow in the midst of all that, some position arises, like, yeah, I like you, I don't like you, we're friends, we're not friends, and that can flip in a matter of seconds. Yeah?
I'm seeing that happen.
yeah. And then somehow it can get taken seriously or not, and then even who does that? Who takes it seriously? Who doesn't? Like, what is it? How come it is that somehow all this can be going on, and there can be just a seeing of it without it going into perspective. It's like, I like, I don't like, Yeah.
It's all
And then
part of our
believing
humanness.
that has anything to do with, it has anything to do with someone that it's projected on. Like, okay, I like you, that means something about you.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, what a joke.
I mean, when you say it's all part of our humanness, it's true in a way, but it's actually just how these human bodies are conditioned, because that can change just in a moment. Life makes a turn in whatever direction, and all of a sudden humanness looks totally different. And we have all the time animals appearing on this planet and then disappearing again. It's just this coming and going. Even if you look at the development and history of humankind, there's big changes from the Neanderthal man to the Homo sapiens right now. It's just changing all the time.
Like, so you meet a kid and the kid is, you could say, from a friend of yours, or the kid is from a family member, or from one of your kids, or you just meet a kid. I mean, all these associations happen, ways of relating happen, and trying to get this kid to like you or not like you, or based on, all this kind of interpreting that goes on. But it's just like you meet a tree, you don't somehow, it's, I guess, if you think it's your tree, then you're busy with, well, does it need pruning, or does it need fertilizer, or, but otherwise, there's a life expressing as a tree, which is actually an experience in you, and you can just, there's a way where there's a feeling it, and you kind of know it from the inside, it's sensitive, and so there's always this kind of moving backwards and forwards between the perspective in a way of that there's somebody out there, and that there's no one here and there's no one there.
So that's why, at least in the lifetime of this body, it has been the biggest gift, I would say, that realization that there is actually no separation ever. And the moment that comes in, it's just
a thought.
Just a thought which has been taught to us. A belief or a thought. If you see how children grow up, you teach them carefully from the beginning, maybe already when they are in your womb, that they are separate beings. So they come out and they are treated as if they are an object. They are taken away from the mother, they measured, all those things. They are put away. We teach them from the beginning, and that's us. I'm talking about us. We are taught to clearly see us as separate beings, and other people too. So everyone is a separate being. So running around like that, with that idea, at least in my experience, was the biggest gift ever, when that was showing itself as, wow, it's just a conditioning, it's just an idea. It is never possible to be separate of anything. Breathing in air, drinking in water. Where does it come from? Where does it go to? These bodies, every moment, every instant, billions or trillions of changes in every cell right now. I don't know how many movements are going on. In every cell, all the time changing. And, I don't even like to say dying, but, one cell goes and another one comes. Just with one breath, they say 10 million new ones are built in the body and others are just falling off. It's a joke to get an even for the mind to get that idea when it's really looked at and really deeply explored, to believe that there is any separation ever. So that was the biggest here. And then, just that realization, with that going fresh into life again, and meeting everything, at least that's the interest, meeting everything that comes along as the beloved. And when it's not happening like that, not clinging on to that experience, but it's just, okay, that was a wave of something, and when sanity comes in again, or clear seeing comes in again, wow, this is my priority, this is what I'm interested in. And the beloved appears immediately. So what I'm noticing in daily life is that the more the system is interested in it, it's like that neural pathway is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and spreading out in the system, spreading out even out of the physical system. It's like it's surrounding more and more the environment. So it's like evolution or life just interested naturally in something new. And that's very, very exciting too. I just say to both of us.
To me?
I'm speaking to my separate being here. My separate other one. Yeah, just a joke. Yeah.
So we...
But yeah. But it has to be, at least in this experience, without that clear recognition that there is never, ever separation. I don't know if it would have come that far. So that needs to be explored. That's what I would advise or put out, to really explore that deeply. And again, it's not something we can put into our pocket if we've seen it once. No, it wants to be seen fresh, every moment. Like your friend said, I didn't understand the name, but the moment it becomes a relationship, it's dead. It's absolutely dead. The moment it's just following an idea, it's leading you right into hell. So it wants to be seen in every moment, fresh. And that's the journey.
Yeah, some people really struggle to meet the, say, contractions or something when they arise in the body, what we were talking about before, about holding space and finding the expression for this, to share with the partner or in relating, transparency. And, what would we say to someone who really sort of seems to struggle when attention just wants to keep pulling out and keep pulling out?
So also there, from my own experience, whenever the noticing comes into consciousness that there is separation, that something is going on and the system goes into overwhelm and has to separate itself from its environment, that is a traumatic response. And what the body naturally does is it goes into fight, flight, or freeze. So it goes into the reptilian brain, where there is no thinking possible, where there's no clear seeing possible. It's only survival based. So it's only interested in having this system here to survive. So whenever that is noticed, that it goes down that pathway. Just retreating, just telling each other, you know, wow, I see it goes down this road, and I know if we keep going here, I will say things that I regret just a little bit later. If it's, you know, if you're already in an overwhelm, it's not possible, I guess. Then you have to go on the roller coaster again. But like I said before, whenever that seeing comes in, that's the moment where you just can take, where you can retreat and resource your system so that it comes into the different mode again. And that can be, you know, simple, just looking for orientation. Where am I actually? Is it actually really unsafe here? Oh, it's just the body that really feels unsafe, but actually the environment is okay. So then you look for things that you find beautiful, so that it switches the nervous system to calm down, that it invites the nervous system to calm down again. It's like, wow, this beautiful painting, or that beautiful color, or maybe a smell, a very beautiful smell is very, very useful and quick because it goes so quickly to the brain. You smell and it does something immediately. So you look for how to resource your system. And when it's resourced and calm again, that's the moment when you can come out. It comes naturally out then, again. And the moment it goes into overwhelm again, you have to take time out. So you can speak that with your partner when you're calm, so that you make an agreement maybe, so that it's not too abrupt. Otherwise it can be a very strong shock also for the other one, when you say, oh no, I'm just out of here. Because for the other one, then it seems like you're going away and you will not come back, maybe. So it's good to talk about that when everything is fine, when you're calm. So, and invite each other, like that. And then you might be even not talk together, just holding hands and look what's actually our interest. Another thing very important to really realize, and as I said, you know, it's, if you just understand it mentally, it's useless. It needs to sink a little bit deeper. That's why that exploration is so important, to be in it, I mean, full time. Oh, now I lost it. Where did I want to go with that? I lost it, so it's not important. It will come again if it's really important. It has to be an interest on both sides.
And that's not always the case, is it? Sometimes the interest is not on both sides.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, you're right. You know what I've seen with attractions, at least in my own experience, the nervous system. So, and that's the conditioning again, is always attracted to the how can I say, to the other side of the nerve. A plus is always attracted to a minus.
To the shadow as well. Yeah. So the romance, with the romance comes the rejection.
Because the nervous system naturally wants to complete itself. So if it hasn't gotten all the information it needed in the first years, especially, of growing up, there will be gaps in the nervous system. And these gaps are still available because they would love to complete themselves. So normally they find another one that has exactly those gaps, and they play out the other way around. Like, you know, if your system is more into pushing and wanting something from somebody and always after somebody, your system will be attracted to somebody that always pulls away. So then you have that push-pull. One is pushing and where are you, and the other one is, oh my God, you're coming too close, you're coming too close. So, so it took us a while for us to find that out, because we have that, of course, too. So Isaac's system is more the pusher, he's after, and my system is more the, oh my God, it's coming too close, it's coming too close. So, but just by noticing how these systems actually work and not taking it personally, it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just a conditioning. It's just how this particular nervous system, body, mind system is grown. Just the way life made it. So it's not up to anybody, because if it was up to us, we would have it just in the most beautiful way, wouldn't we? If it was up to us.
If only you would change and be the way that I want you to be, everything would be all right.
Absolutely, and we can wait until the cows come home, huh?
Yeah. So, 12 years together, you two, certainly that's given enough time for the shadow to come out and play sometimes, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and still does.
And express itself, yeah, and still does, How do you experience this, Isaac? I'm interested. Like when your shadow comes out to play.
But I don't have a shadow.
To express. Of course you don't.
He is the shadow.
What does he do? Leave his wet towels on the floor, or what? Come on, put a bit of juice here.
Yeah. So the thing is that. Of course, there's patterns playing, but there's just like honestly, don't see them as mine. So whatever shadow is there, it's like it doesn't belong to it doesn't belong to me, so to speak. That's why I can joke and say I don't have a shadow, because there's just these kind of habits that cause difficulty. But for everyone, it's like they play and they produce difficulty until they see. So, and I haven't found that there's much value in considering them mine, because then already there's some identification. So habits, I got plenty. There's plenty of bad habits at play, yeah. And when I say bad habits, I don't know.
Just habits. That's what these systems are made from. And they are all based on survival. This is how life has woven us, because it survived this way. So, but there again, just how Isaac spoke, that's the gift of exploring together or exploring by ourselves for such a long time and being interested in that by grace, that it's just so clear it doesn't have to do anything with anybody, ever. And we both know the price to pay when it seems like that there is somebody. That doesn't mean that.
Sorry, I was just going to take it a little off track. It doesn't have to do with the other, even when I say I love you, in a sense. What does, like an expression like when we personalize what we perceive as love.
It's so curious, just coming back in this moment. It's like, what is Reenah? When we look, well, what is Isaac? What is actually, there's certain, you could say, ways that the body shows up. It seems to know how to, do this dance, and it's changing all the time. You look in the mirror and you see, wow, it's places of flabbing that weren't flabbing before, and graying that weren't graying before. And it's doing its dance, and some mornings you wake up and there's aches and pains, and other mornings there's none. And some nights sleeping happens just easily, and other nights you're tossing and turning and stuff like that. So, but then, what is an actual person? It's like, I mean, you can notice the so we're sitting here and there's this body called bodying, like that people have put the name on Reenah on, but then I'm like, what's actually Reenah? Is it that body? Or is the personality there, or is all the experience that's been had that Reenah, or is it Reenah's impression of Reenah, or is it Reenah's mom's impression of Reenah, or is it, what is actually Reenah? I mean, in the end, what is there? It's just different impressions, you could say, different perceptions. And then there's, let's say, there's a way where the attention kind of meets itself that is so deep and powerful and beautiful. It's like tantra. To me, it feels just like making love in a weird kind of, in a very simple, honest way. It's just like, it's not, it's not, it's just loving itself, or something like that. And then different ideas, different perspectives, different things coming and going and playing. Some of them taking it seriously or not.
Yeah, we seem to like seriousness, don't we? I mean, we seem to like. It's like, well, it appears we reach a glass ceiling in relating, in intimacy. This is what I've seen. It's like the system sort of gets to this point, and something happens when it sort of gets to that point. It's either like it either lets go into itself, or sometimes it's like it once again wants to project out or pull away. When we reach this, and this is what happens, what I see in a lot of relationships. I've actually called this video the RealShip. It's a term a friend of mine, Angelica, coined. She calls it a RealShip. So there's the RealShip and there's the relationship. Okay. Just to have the distinction. So the relationship is actually the one where, it's like the glass ceiling, it's the glass ceiling, you sort of get to. And then it seems like we can't hold space for this. You've got different definitions of love, you're denying your femininity, like reasons. Whatever the reasons are, all these reasons arise as to why this person that we think we are looking at is blocked, and then the other believes in their reasons for not being, for not being able to go deeper into their dance because this one over here is blocked, and there's this dynamic. that plays
Yes.
out. I just wanted to acknowledge that dynamic that I see so often in relating.
Yeah, so let's just look at our own experience here. What is it that pulls us to want to spend time together or not spend time together? Like, so we meet each other, and then what are the movements where you say, wow, okay, that could be nice to spend a little bit more time together, or a lot more time together, or what? Let's just see if we can slow it down and see how that moves.
Yes.
So you could say at a certain, there might be, it could be anything from like attraction, some interest in getting, but I would say usually what attracts us to want to spend time is that there's a nice feeling. If there's not such a nice feeling, you don't actually feel so drawn to want to spend time. How's it for you?
Yeah, look, for me, it's that nice feeling now. For me, feeling into myself. I mean, these past 4 months for me have been completely transformative. Everything I believed was love, really, I can see was just an idea and a projection. And for me now, it's more in the idea and the conditioning. It's all innocent, but it's that really just sinking into my own system, just into this body now, this relaxation here now.
So let's go deeper into that thing of just looking now, just simply in our own thing. So you meet someone, and maybe you have an enjoyable time, or maybe not. But what are the movements where we go, well, let's hang out again, or no, that's it, been there, done that? How does that happen? How does that work in you? Because ultimately, to me, it seems like there's either a common interest in something. It can be a very practical thing. Okay, look, you're a mechanic and my car needs attention. Could be something simple like that. But what is it that actually draws us to spend time with another being? What looks like another being? Without any judgment on it. Just what is it? How does that movement happen? You meet someone and you say, okay, somehow, not much interest to spend time together, and then someone else you meet and something goes, oh yeah, that would be nice. Come over, let's eat, or let's go for a walk, or let's go to the bedroom, or whatever. What are those movements? How do they happen?
Just relaxation in the body, in the system. It's just a real letting go into this.
Yeah, and then sometimes, you can meet someone, there can be attraction and enjoying, and yet there's no movement, you could say, to wanting to do anything with it. Really nothing. It's just enjoy it while it's happening, and it moves, and it's totally fine. And somewhere else there's a movement, and it's like, oh, let's spend more time. And then it has to be somehow be mutual, because if there's not a common interest to spend time, then one person says, let's spend time, the other person says, okay, but nothing ever moves because there's not a genuine interest. So how does that interest rise? That it's like somehow it feels, you could say, when I look, I see there has to be a common interest for one thing. Otherwise, you know, if there's someone that has an interest in talking politics and that's not really your thing, or someone that has an interest in talking about problems and it's not really your thing. You know, so what starts to move it in the direction of, oh wow, I'd like to spend a little bit more time together, or I'd like to touch. Where does that movement come from? I'd like to just touch your skin, or there's a movement, I'd like to kiss you, or where does, you know, how does that happen? I mean, these are just movements we're all familiar with, yeah? Sometimes, you know, like, I remember as a kid, there was any animal that came nearby, I loved to touch it and pet it and play with it, especially dogs, yeah? But, and then nowadays dogs can come around and it's not that big an interest to play with them. Or, it's just, oh, hi, you know, see that being. But yeah, it's just not somehow, yeah, not so. Someone sent me an email of a picture of a whole lot of, like, I think there's 6 young girls, you know, maybe 2 or 3 holding hands together, and then the picture below was about. It looked like maybe the same woman at around 18 or 20, and they're all kind of standing there, and clearly their hormones are all flowing. And then the third picture was this woman of around 80, and they standing in their bathing suits, and kind of, and the photos were all kind of from behind, looking, you know, just at them from behind. In the last picture, this 80-year-old woman are all kind of bending over in their bathing suits, and they've all gotten different shapes now, and you know, there's wrinkles and cellulite. And then you just go look in the mirror and you watch what's happening to your own body. Oh. Anyway, I don't know. I'm wandering all over the place here. Yes, sir. In your experience, Reenah, what is it that, when you look at what pulls you to want to spend time with one person and not with someone else? What is that?
Look, it's always, it is literally a mystery, isn't it? But I can say that, you know, because honestly, the sort of people I've been with have been so vastly different. But it's always a sensation in my body. It's like there's a deep relaxation it invites, and there's a real quietness. I like it. I'm attracted to people that I can be really quiet with, and there's no need to go into even a lot of chatter. There's even a silence in the sharing and in the talking.
Okay, so that's one movement. Beautiful. I get it. And then where does it move into attraction? What's the movement where it goes into some kind of attraction, you could say, yeah? Yeah.
So the movement, well, for me, that is the very movement to attraction. You know, it's the noticing of the full body sensation. You know, it's like just an awareness of my whole body and its expression in that moment and what wants to come out to be expressed. And somehow I meet a person and there's this, they could call it sensual, like a sort of sensation that comes up in the body, and it's just really beautiful.
Yeah, so slowing that down, because we know that all that is a bunch of chemicals moving, yeah?
Yeah.
So maybe maybe you smell something, or you sense something, or you feel something. I mean, there's a way in which...
Yes, and also there is something, how can I say, there's something even deeper than for me now, in the attraction. Definitely, there's what you say, there's the smell, you know, the chemical reaction, you know, the body, the arousal. There's also that inner knowing. It's both that play out, you know, sexuality, that can be one aspect, and there can be sexual attraction. And then there's a deeper attraction than that too. You know, it's like this real openness where just attention just seems to just naturally go so wide. It's the best way I can explain it. And there's just this openness between two systems, just reflecting to something really so lovely that goes beyond all the beautiful physical stuff that comes with it. And I trust this, you know, I move with this attractions. There's always physical attraction. This system experiences physical attraction all the time. And, and it's clear and it's beautiful, you know, when it arises.
You know, when I was much younger, I wanted to see what all this stuff was around and about, and so I gave myself a period of time where I was just willing to be sexual with any woman that was willing to be sexual with me, and sometimes there'd be an attraction. I think, wow, this is going to be so hard if it could happen. We'd get together and it was pretty flat, and then sometimes it'd be someone I'd think, oh, I hope no one really sees me going off with her. And we end up being together, and it was just, man, so powerful and incredible. But I could see that, you know, especially at that level of maturity that was happening at that time, when it was amazing, but it didn't meet the pictures of my ideas of attractiveness. It's like how difficult it was for the system. It had this, you know, somehow it wanted to match the whole thing up, that they had to meet the pictures of what was beautiful as well as the experience. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing. You meet someone and you think, wow, but in the end, what is it all really about? You know, it's like...
Well, a lot of attraction for a lot of people, you know, particularly when it's younger, often it will be like this physical attraction that, I mean, we believe often, you know, that this is love, that, you know, then we have sex, we have great sex, or it's not so great sex, and then we tell ourselves, oh, this must be a relationship now, you know, because we're doing this thing and it feels so great. And I think this is where we get really confused, you know, because we're not really understanding our sexuality yet. And I still don't think we do fully understand our sexuality yet, because, you know, of course it has to do with what you have both been talking about, and that's holding space.
and even like
space, but it's also not just holding, not holding space for, you know, our contractions, and holding space for, you know, all that uncomfortable stuff and seeing it. It's also holding space for our pleasure too, because...
And even there, you know, like with the same person, you can be with a person and one time you kind of are together and it's just mind-blowing, it's off the scale, beautiful, and another time it's just, oh, it's okay, it's just nothing. And then one time just holding each other can be more nurturing than making love. And so it's a big subject, because what's it based on, really?
very big subject because we believe too when, you know, like in making love, like you ask 100 people what's good sex and you'll get 100 different definitions. You know, there's so many beliefs around even what feels good, and then we, you know, it's our ideas.
All our ideas that have been conditioned us, you know, this prince and princess thing, and I mean, you live with one person and you fall in love and that lasts forever, and you have beautiful children.
And ideas of what is beautiful.
Oh man, it's just...
You grow up in one culture, you have one idea of what's beautiful, you grow up in another. And then, you know, you look at an 18-year-old and you say, I remember Popji once was saying, oh, she's a beautiful woman. And then he changed it. He said, no, she's not beautiful, she's young.
Yeah.
So we're saying, what is this attraction thing? Actually sharing with Meike how I went into, so, you know, there was so much personalization and rejection that was experienced here until it became so intense, until pain just kept on falling into itself, until it literally became a wonder.
Yeah.
And in this moment, I saw that there was no difference between the wonder of and mystery of the pleasure and the mystery even of the pain and the depth of that too. Really, I feel like this is where I stand alone. So attraction for me is like you two, perhaps not relationship-wise or something, but you know, you meet someone who can sit in their aloneness. This is very attractive.
Yeah, if that's the level of maturity.
Yeah.
For some people, it would be a freak out. Someone sitting like that is like, God,
what's she talking about?
Yeah. So with luck, we haven't
destroyed too many dreams.
Managed to say anything.
Right.
I don't know if anybody else has had much.
Yeah. Thank you, Meike and Isaac.
It's been a pleasure hanging out with you, Reenah, and everyone who's tuning in right now. So lots of love to everyone, and we'll do something like that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, very enjoyable.
Yeah, very enjoyable.
I even managed to get a couple of naps in.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Isn't it? Isn't it the best to have a little sleep, a little nap in company?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big love.
Thank you very much.
Love.
And
Bye.
lots of love. Bye-bye.
The gift of this life is given to you. What does your life speak?